The row selector is a component that's included with the reporting module. You'll find the component listed under reporting in the component palette. There are two important properties, data in and data out. The component will filter to the data in dataset and push the filter results to the data out property. Let's begin by bringing the dataset on our raw data table into the data in property. The raw data table up here is simply querying some data from our database. We'll start by selecting the row selector and clicking the binding icon on the row selector's data in property. We'll select a property binding, find our raw data table and the data property there, and click OK. Next, we'll select our filtered data table, and we'll bind the data property on the table to the row selector's data out property. So we'll find under row selector, data out, and click OK. If we put this into preview mode, you'll see that the row selector is grouping our data by month and year. We can drill down to day, and it's based off of the T-stamp column here. We can also drill down to each hour. Let's take a look at how the data is being filtered. If we leave preview mode, right-click on the row selector, go down to Customizers and Row Selector Tree Customizer. You can see there are multiple filters here. Each one of them is looking at the T-stamp column. We can reorder how the filters are applied. We can also change the icon path, so instead of having a folder, let's go ahead and drill down, go to icons, and we'll change this to a calendar. You can change how each filter is displayed in the row selector with this format string property. We can click on this little calendar icon here and select a pre-made one, or just type directly into it. Let's go ahead and add the rest of the year here so it matches up with how the T-stamp column looks. We'll click OK. You can see that the format on the top filter has been changed. Now if we put this back into preview mode, if we click on each hour, the filtered data table updates with only results from that hour, day, month, and year combination. We can also pick a specific day or even just the entire month's worth of data. It's important to note that you don't have to filter by the timestamp. You can use the other columns. If we take this out of the preview mode, right-click, we'll go back to our customizer, and we can just delete all these. And let's go ahead and filter instead by equipment and cause, and you can also click on the little arrow over here to bring it over. Let's go ahead and reorder these though. There we are. Click OK. You'll see that the row selector is grouping our data by piece of equipment. If we put the designer into preview mode, we can drill down to each cause for each piece of equipment. Lastly, I wanted to note that you don't need both tables on the window here. The raw data table is really just to show you what the data looks like before it's filtered. Really, you could take the query that's on the data binding for the raw table and just move it to the data in property on the row selector.